Scotland's mainland and many islands has over 10,000 miles of total coastline. Therefore, building and maintaining boats would have been essential for everyday life for our Highland ancestors. In this video, I visit John Duncan Matheson, who is a Highland traditional boat builder with a mission to rekindle this ancient craft, demystify the skills, and return trades such as this to benefit the modern day Highland economy and communities. Hi folks, Tom Fandabi Dozi, thanks for tuning in. So I'm here in the stunning Kintail by the shores of Loch Duich, and I'm joined by John Duncan Matheson, who is a born and bred Highlander and also a traditional boat builder. So thanks for having me, John.
It's a pleasure.
So how long have you been building boats for?
7 years ago, I did my first boat building through Plockton High School. They had a course offered called the Ambata Project for their senior pupils. I then went on to study further, a 47-week course down in Lowestoft at the IBTC. When I came back up, I got a little bit of employment as a fiberglass boat builder, but my passion was always with woodworking. Since then, I've been self-employed and
Still going, still doing it. Cool. So what sort of traditional boats would have been used in this part of the Highlands?
clinker built would have been the primary. It would have come over with the Vikings back in 1000 AD. 1000 AD thereabouts is the earliest known example of the clinker built boat. And when they came over, they would have left the skills in them, or here.
Wow. And pretty much almost like every village would have had someone who could build boats here, because it would have been essential for getting about.
It was the primary form of transport. If you didn't have a boat, you went everywhere by foot through the hills or around the coastline.
And there wouldn't have really been any proper roads or things, or in terms of transporting any heavy goods, boats were the main way to go.
Absolutely.
So you're starting a crowdfunding campaign, is that right? And you're hoping to build, you're going to start off with one boat and then hopefully build some more?
Yes, we're aiming to raise the money to attain materials to build the one boat to begin with.
Yeah.
And from there, I'll be raising further money to build 5 more, with first as the example, after being tested, redesigned where necessary, and after that, I'm going to be setting up a traditional boat hire scheme so that people can take my boats,
take them out here,
go for a row and see the beauty of the Highlands from the water. And it is something else. You haven't seen the Highlands until you've seen it from a distance.
In a handmade boat.
Yeah.
So the designs that you're making, they're the skills are traditional, but the actual design is something you've come up with. Is that right?
Yes, yeah. It's a design of my own. However, the building practice has changed relatively little over the course of a couple thousand years. Okay. They nailed the practice.
And you're making it all by hand?
All by hand, yeah.
Wow. So what's the sort of, just quickly, what's the making process behind it? Because you're hoping to do it all with local materials and stuff,
yes, I have the local materials already milled up, curing the...
So it's local trees have already been milled, and then...
we're good to go.
Yeah?
We just need the coin.
Okay.
And the building process is, keel first. So for the clinker, I'll be beginning with the keel, after which you put on top what's called the hog. That's where your first plank, the garboard planks, get fastened onto. From there, plank, 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 all steamed in beautifully.
Steam bent. Okay.
Steam bent. Although back in the day, it would, depending on how fresh the tree is, you'd use green wood.
Okay, so could you get the wood right off the fresh tree and bend it into place pretty much?
Ideally not straight off the fresh tree, because there's always a bit of a shrinkage.
Oh, there would have been warping.
You'd want it to be stable. Although with the steaming process, you're at the same time kiln drying it.
Okay.
Almost.
Yeah.
You're heating it up and then it's rapidly cooling down as you steam it, so no matter how, within a couple of weeks, no matter how green the moisture content of the wood is, it will be stable by the time that it cools down.
Okay. So you've already built a boat, right?
Yes, we have.
Nearby, and again, same idea, traditional skills, but your own design, right? Your own thinking.
Traditional skills, a bit more of a modern aesthetic.
And you've taken it out in the water how many times? Just
only a couple of times from the launch, and then back and forth between here and the...
So you're pretty confident?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not going to drown?
No, you're in safe hands.
Okay.
The Rollock system is going to be the first time it's been tested, so
Sweet.
got that to look forward to.
All right. Well, shall we take it for a spin?
Absolutely.
Okay. Stay tuned.
I mean, if there was going to be a disaster, we would know about it by now.
Yeah. So the sort of design and shape, it's kind of just what you wanted, or were you basing it on
No, it's...
boats that already exist?
I think it's probably safer to say that I put all of my favourite aspects of boats into this, because I absolutely love it when there's a raised bow section in a boat. I think that just looks stunning.
Yeah.
I like the stem being
Coming out,
overhanging,
protruding
and
out.
a cockpit coaming, which is this upright, is called, it's a cockpit and the same as a boat as it is in a plane.
Okay.
The cockpit coaming, I've always loved that.
And you made the oars as well?
Yes, I actually made these oars down at the IBTC,
Nice.
and I extended them for the boat
Aye.
with an old stainless steel tube. The extension is entirely oh, I'm taking the boat out next week, I need to make my oars longer. How do I do that? Here's a pipe that fits over it perfectly. Here's a ratchet strap to keep the cold off the hands.
Keep it together.
Good.
Nice.
Good to go. Yeah, oh, come on, climb aboard.
Take her out.
The rollock system works pretty well. That's what they're called toll pins.
So is this
You just have 2 pins sticking out.
two pins and a bit of rope?
The rope was my own idea because I tried it without, and then they kept popping out.
Okay.
They kept popping out, and then I
So
thought,
the rope was your idea, or is it
yeah,
inspired by something else?
just inspired by it not working.
Yeah.
So I had to figure out something, and it works very well.
Nice. So how long did this take you to build, Dylan?
11 months.
11 months.
Give or
of
take.
like hard, every day pretty much? Or?
11 months, and I said to myself it was going to take 4 months. What a lesson that was. I mean, the entire thing's been just the biggest learning curve I've ever had.
And you did it all by yourself pretty much?
Yeah, single-handed. For the most part, I had Briar's help, because a lot of traditional boat building is dependent on having 2 hands.
Yeah.
A lot of your backing up your nails, you're roving. So, but I've for the most part done things for myself.
Nice.
It makes you very independent.
Yeah. Well, it's going really well. It feels super stable.
It's good. The only water inside it is what we brought in ourselves.
Yeah.
It's always about
full of tea.
plus. Tea, cakes, cheese, oatcakes.
The life.
And this is what I want. This is what I want to provide people. This sort of
experience. With
Yeah,
that sort of
view.
view. Look at that. And the boats that you're planning on building will be similar kind of size to this?
yes,
Similar length?
same length.
Not as wide, maybe?
Not quite as wide.
Yeah.
I learned the hard way. Just how much more work you give yourself. I might have hit the 4-month mark if it had just been a third less wide,
Okay.
but then it wouldn't be quite as
Not quite as stable.
fantastic.
That's a beauty. So how does it feel after 11 months of piecing it together when you can actually stick it in the water and let her fly?
I've read it said, someone once compared it, he said, building a boat gives you joy that is only surpassable by bringing a human life into existence, because it is the closest to actually creating life is a boat. When they're on dry land, they're very static. As soon as they hit the water, it just takes on an attitude. It takes on a personality. She becomes wild, as if made by nature herself. I'm very proud of her.
Beautiful.
We should be here, indeed.
Cheers, man.
Snatchva.
Stands for.
And you.
Went well, eh?
Lovely.
So once you've kind of built the boats that you've got planned, what's the dream? What's
The end game.
Yeah, the end game. What's the idea of bringing these skills back to the Highlands?
Well, once these boats that I'm going to be raising the money for to then throw into the water turn into a traditional boat hire scheme. The idea behind that is to give me a foundation. I have a regular income coming in, and from there, I can entirely delve into what I love, and that is designing, creating new, innovative ideas. And I want to put a lot of time into the web series I have planned. And the idea behind that is to demystify traditional boat building and all the skills involved, to bring the trade, not so much to bring the trade back, because the trade has never disappeared. It's never going to disappear. So long as there's a man to go through a midlife crisis, traditional boat building is going to be here for.
It's going to be here to stay.
Yeah, it's going to be here. As far as my idea of sort of demystifying the traditional boat building trade, is not so much to create boat builders. As I was saying, the boat building is never going to disappear. But what it is, once you figure out how these things work, how lines in a boat work, how creating a curve across a three-dimensional plane makes something go that way or this way, once there's a click in your head, it just opens up your vision and your attitude toward approaching anything in life, any task, any problem solving. It pushes you to think of a way of achieving something that you will never be taught with the system that we have.
So that's the dream.
To bring it back specific to the Highlands, inspiring this kind of craft, inspiring this sort of business, this livelihood, even if it's not inspiring specifically boat building, but just generally traditional skills, generally
Hands-on skills.
Bringing those things back to the Highlands and inspiring young people, especially.
Yes.
To start these livelihoods and businesses.
The inspiration of the young people. Everyone needs to start doing that, because there's just such a doer vibe around.
Doer attitude.
Yeah, towards what you can do.
In terms of what interests me, is that, the Highlands we see, at least in the last century, all the young generation move away. They go to the city, they go to where the jobs are.
There's nothing. There's no.
In the Highlands, we tend to just have, there's lots of holiday homes, and there's lots of very.
Exactly. There's no innovation. There's no innovation.
There's no innovation. There's no kind of inspiration for the younger generation.
No, not at all.
As we discussed the other night, I really want to see a revitalization of Scottish culture. I feel like we were
dealt a culture.
We've been dealt a culture. We've been sold the tartan and the you know, the shortbread and the whiskey and it was all little bits of it, but we've been sold a kind of a package of what it was when it was actually much
Don't
deeper.
dig the shortbread.
Don't diss the shortbread. I've got nothing against shortbread.
Worthy of a mention.
But it's much deeper and richer, and I want to see a revitalization of that, and a kind of lots more people coming back to the land, finding ways to live alongside reforestation, alongside finding more sustainable ways of living with the land. That's the dream.
I so ultimately bring people back and then make people want to stay. Make people, like, the phrase "taking pride in your country" is thrown about so much, but you know, like, and it's got negative sides.
Yeah, beyond just beyond blind nationalism, but actual a belonging to, rather than idea of Scotland, an idea of whatever that is, but the idea of that I want to look after these trees because they benefit my children and their children and so on. I want to look after the fish stocks. I want to look after everything because you feel a sense of belonging and responsibility.
We have a full stomach because of what's out there. We're breathing because of what's here.
Exactly.
Really.
So is that kind of pride in country rather than an idea of nationalism, a pride and responsibility of the very.
Be proud of where you are.
Exactly.
And if you're not, make it so.
Yeah. Well, what a place to do such a project.
No, it's the place that's allowed it to happen.
Sun's going down. You've just been out in your beautiful handmade boat.
Yeah.
And more power to you. So John's got his crowdfunding campaign to get his boat project on the go. How does that work exactly? People go on and they.
You'll find it.
You'll find it. I'll put links in the description below. So go definitely check out John's crowdfunding campaign. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll be back with another video as soon as I can. Cheers, folks.
Enough of this silliness. Let's
have
at it.
Have at
Good
it.
man. Sanjiva.
Sanjiva.